Good morning, day 65. Another rainy, gloomy day here in Southern California. I tried to wait out the rain this morning, but we have rain all day. So finally kind of mellowed out. So I had to put my snowboarding jacket on and just go. Feet are soaking wet and freezing, but have to get it in. I did not think that in the last 10 days of this challenge that there would be these many challenges, bad weather, and just all the other madness going on. But on today's walk, the thing that I was thinking a lot about is what I read last night in The Wealthy Gardener, where he talked about impact statistics and how you should really think about where you spend your time and what type of results, the most important stuff, the most effective stuff results in, I guess you could say, and tracking that. So today I'm really thinking a lot about what I'm going to spend my time on, how I'm going to track it, so I can really get a clear picture of exactly where my hours go and what type of results they yield, which I think is so important, the tracking aspect of it. And the whole thing was about how, your days may seem so busy and it may seem like you're doing so much, which, you probably are, but are the things that you're doing, are they driving the most impactful results that you're trying to accomplish, and that will get you closer to the goals that you're trying to reach? So that's what I'm thinking a lot about. And another thing that I really like about that is, let's just say if you were constrained to 2 hours of really intense focus work that was the most effective for your goals. What I like about that is that provides insurance for the days where you're not feeling so hot, and for whatever reason, you could be sick or just like mentally not there. It's an insurance for those days too, that you will still get the things done that are most effective to your results. So, and we know that we all have those days. It's just natural. So that's a really good strategy for those days as well. And that is day 65. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.
Hi guys, day 65 of the 75-day challenge, chapter 4, lesson 52 of The Wealthy Gardener. So let's get into it. This chapter or lesson is called Asking. Because a garden means constantly making choices, it offers almost limitless possibilities for surprise and satisfaction. And the quote is by Jane Garmy. Ask and you shall receive, sighed the wealthy gardener. May not be an absolute maxim, but not asking is an absolute way not to receive. Asking is the act of making inquiries that can open doors. Dreams are lost for want of asking. Lives remain stuck for lack of bold questions. What do you want, and what is required to make it possible? You get in life what you have the courage to ask for, said Oprah Winfrey. Ask for what you want, said Roger Ellerton. Give other people the opportunity to say yes. Stop saying no for them. Learn to ask for what you want. The worst people can do is not give you what you ask for, which is precisely where you were before you asked, advised Peter McWilliams. It is crucial to note that every major financial advancement during my life has followed a bold question. There were always many other factors involved, but these other factors vary according to a situation. The only constant in these life-changing leaps of progress was a bold question. Bold asking preceded every big break. Many things are lost for want of asking, states an English proverb. If we fail to speak up for what we want, doors will fail to open on their own. The best opportunities are reserved for those of us with the courage to give another person the chance to say yes. Doors will remain closed for the silent majority. If you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't step forward, you're always in the same place, said Nora Roberts. Bold questions are the keys to opening doors that would otherwise remain closed. The life lesson, asking. I found that asking led to leaps of progress, and a bold question preceded every big break. Really interesting chapter, and it kind of made me think about when in my lifetime I've asked for something and I've received it. And of course, there's so many times where you ask for things and you don't receive it. And it reminded me of when I think I was 22 and I was starting off one of my first businesses, and it was a tech company. And at that time, you know, this is almost 10 years ago. So the whole thing about, finding VCs and angel investors and raising money, especially if you were going into tech and development, that was sort of the common thing that was going on. And so when I was building my technology company, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to raise money. I need to raise money. And I had no idea. I have zero background in raising money or even building a tech company, let alone, but I had an idea and I wanted to build it, and I knew it was going to require money to build the technology side of it. And I just remember talking to anyone and everyone that I could possibly talk to. I would go to whatever events were out there and just talk to people. And in hindsight, I mean, I look at it now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I probably had no idea what I was talking about, but I was just bold and out there. And then I remember one day, like some random person that I met referred me to this guy who was a local business owner in the city that I used to live in. And she said, oh, he's just a great guy to know, maybe a mentor. And I really knew nothing about this guy. And so, I called him one day and I was able to set up a meeting and just wanted to talk. And I went into his office really just to kind of network and see if he could connect me to anybody who could invest in my business. And after talking to him, he was he was really knowledgeable, and he was just so in tune with what I was trying to do. And I remember that day, this was like at 7 p.m. at night, and I was sitting in his office, and just kind of out of nowhere, I like leaned into his desk, and before I left his office, I was like, so are you gonna write me a check? And he was just silent and didn't really say anything, kind of just smiled, and I was like, and in my mind, I was like, kind of like halfway kidding, but like halfway serious, because I was like, this guy would be the perfect investor in my company. And sure enough, a week later, he wrote me my first investment check. And that was when I was 22. I'm about to be 30, and he is still a mentor in my life. And that whole relationship just flourished and grew, and he became such a big part of my journey and my process and my story throughout all the years and all the different things that I've tried and I've created. And it's just crazy, and it all just came from a question. Like I didn't even know if he was somebody who had money or could even invest. And I just asked him if he'd write me a check. And him and I, we talk about the story even till today, how it was just some random girl walked into his office and we talked about this idea and this company. And I was just like, hey, do you want to write me a check? And, it worked out. And it's just kind of funny how things like that happen. And after reading this chapter today, it was kind of a really great reminder for me that today in my life, sometimes you feel like you become so independent and you become set in your ways, and you kind of get into this groove of things that maybe you don't need as much help, or you kind of fall out of that mode of like asking. And so this was a really good reminder for me that I need to continue to ask. If I'm really plan on getting to where I'm trying to go, asking is going to be a big part of that. So really a great reminder. And I think this applies to everything, from small things in your normal day-to-day life to your job, working with your upper management. If there's a better position that you think that you can be in, or a better job title, you just got to ask, and you have to be able to work for it and show that you're really worthy of what you're asking for. So definitely a really good reminder. All right, so I'll wrap it up with that. That was a lesson on asking. This is The Wealthy Gardener by John Sverrick. Today is day 65. I can't believe I'm in the last 10 days of this. So crazy. But if you're looking for something to watch, I would definitely recommend watching this whole playlist. I've been reading this book from the very beginning for this challenge. I have a whole playlist on my channel. It's called the 75 Day Challenge, where you can essentially listen to the whole book. And I would definitely definitely recommend buying the book so you can follow along and take notes. Like my entire book, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but it's marked up from the very beginning. So I love to take notes and highlight and really take key points away. So definitely check out the link in my description down below if you're interested in getting this book. And there's also a link to the challenge as well. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you like this channel, please be sure to subscribe. Show me your support and love. I would really appreciate it. Take care. Have a good night. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.